When I first saw this graph, I was shocked. Take a look at it, and I'll explain why. The graph shows weight changes throughout the year in 3 different countries: Japan, Germany, and the United States. As you can see, they've also added inlines marking different holidays throughout the year. Basically, around Thanksgiving, the percent weight change starts increasing, which means people are gaining more and more weight each week during the holiday season, peaking around New Year's, more particularly in the United States. But here's the big problem. You can see that this graph is trending down in the new year, but that does not mean that people are losing the weight that they gained during the holidays. It just means that their weight isn't changing as much. The only time we're seeing weight loss is when the graph goes below 0, which, as you can see, is not very often over the course of the year. More weight is gained each holiday season, and research has found that most people struggle to lose this weight during other parts of the year. So what happens is weight just keeps slowly creeping on over time. One study actually found that people gain an average of, ready for this, 500% more weight per week during holiday weeks compared with non-holiday weeks. That is staggering. Now, I know the stats sound pretty ominous, but weight gain does not have to be inevitable over the holidays if you take a few specific steps to avoid it. There are actually 5 strategies that I've discovered and tested with my VIP clients, and when they implement these quick fixes, they can either maintain their weight or even keep making weight loss progress during the holiday season. But the fact is that most people aren't doing these things, which is why you get graphs like the ones that I show you. Want to learn what those 5 critical steps are to stop the extra fat gain over the holidays? Keep watching, and I'm going to give you a complete holiday nutrition action plan. Hey everyone, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Andres Ayesta, and I'm a registered dietitian who helps busy parents and professionals reach their fat loss goals. If there is one time of the year that most people struggle with their weight more than any other, that is this time, which is the holiday season. I know this is a busy time of the year, so I'm glad that you're taking a few minutes out of your day to watch this video and learn 5 quick fixes that are going to help you start to avoid starting the new year feeling at a low point with your health and weight, and most likely scrambling around looking for quick solutions and creating resolutions that may not last past January 31st. Let's be honest. So let's get right into it. But before we do that, remember to hit subscribe right now for new videos from me every new week. And let's get right into today's video. The way I see it, there are 2 ways to approach the holiday season when you have a weight loss goal. I shared this in a recent group coaching session with our one-on-one clients. Approach number 1, well, the end of the year could be a really good opportunity to double down on your efforts and really get dialed in your nutrition and your fitness goals. This helps many people as they have a goal to pursue, and when doing this, the holiday festivities do not really affect much of their ability to stick to their habits. So this could be one approach. Again, it's just more of a last push before the finish line, thinking the finish line is the end of the year. So some people have that personality that helps them really push. More so than that, I think a lot of times for these people, it really helps them to have specific structural goals to help them navigate busy seasons like that. There's a second approach, which is a little bit different. If you're trying to lose weight, you can choose the intention to focus on just maintaining or maintenance rather than choosing to lose weight, maybe through a very difficult or tough season. The focus here is to maybe be a bit more relaxed around your food choices, but following certain guidelines and sticking to habits that will help you maintain the weight you have lost up until this point. This is more of a compassionate approach when the holiday season may be a crazy time for you and your family. Both of these are approaches that I recommend for different people at different stages in their journey. Now, the important thing is just to adjust your expectations accordingly. Now, there's also a third option for the holiday season, and way too many people take this approach to their nutrition. Unfortunately, it's also the main cause of the weight gain trend that we see this time of year, and probably the result of that graph that you saw at the beginning of this video. Weight gain that happens over the holidays is never caused by a couple big meals, Thanksgiving and Christmas meals or whatever. Instead, it's because people go into this time of the year with an all or nothing mindset, or what I like to call the what the hell mentality. They decide that it's too late in the year to make any changes to their nutrition, so it's better to say, what the hell, I'm already going to overeat anyways, and completely give up on their goals until the new year so they can have a fresh start. What this looks like is maybe eating all of the desserts or having all of the drinks and paying attention to no calorie intake whatsoever for the whole month of December, which of course can lead to weight gain. So this brings us to the first quick fix for today, which is fix number 1, drop the all or nothing mentality. Now, I'm going to be honest here, out of all the tips I'm sharing today, this one is probably one of the most difficult ones because it's a mindset shift and not necessarily a nutrition change. There's one way of thinking about this that I think helps a lot of people, and that's putting weight loss on the back burner for a second and simply asking yourself, how do you want to feel during the holiday season? Do you want to feel stuffed and sluggish from overeating? Do you want to feel uncomfortable in your body when you're at holiday parties? Do you want to constantly be thinking about restricted diets that you're going to have to start in January to address all the damage that you caused throughout December? Or would you rather feel happy, energized, and completely satisfied because you're eating a combination of healthier foods, but also holiday treats? Every time you have a meal, you get a chance to ask yourself how you want to feel and make a choice that aligns with that. So maybe this looks like eating until you're satisfied rather than stuffed at Christmas dinner, but maybe still eating the foods that you want, just in smaller portions. Or maybe it means starting the day with chocolate from your advent calendar and having lots of high protein meals with vegetables throughout the day. Or maybe you'll just eat one wall of the gingerbread house instead of the entire house. And I know this one is hard, but maybe moderation looks like making cookies and eating just one rather than snacking on 6 cookies worth of dough while you're baking them. It might look different for you, but the main takeaways here is not letting one single food choice spiral into a day of overeating or maybe a week or even the month. Now that we talked about finding the balance with the food choices you're making, let's talk about one huge mistake so many people make before holiday meals, and obviously how to fix it. Fix number 2 is do not fast before a big holiday meal. I'm a big proponent of fasting, just not in this type of situations. I never suggest trying to save up calories by skipping meals earlier in the day when you have a big meal coming up at dinner. This is basically the easiest way to guarantee you'll massively overeat at dinner and feel like crap. Because if you spend your entire day without food, of course you're going to be so hungry by dinner time that you won't have any kind of mindfulness around your eating habits because you'll be so ravenous. And that makes complete sense. All your body wants is to get the energy that it needs that it hasn't gotten for the day. If you do this, not only would you probably eat even more calories that you would have if you're just eating normally throughout the day, but you'll probably finish the evening feeling stuffed and sick from eating too much in one sitting. And the next day, you're going to feel even worse, and that's gonna spiral into the all or nothing thinking, which will tell you, well, I definitely overdid it yesterday, so I might as well just keep pushing this until next week, until next year. Now, I'm not saying you can't make strategic decisions to manage your calories throughout the day. I actually recommend doing this if your goal is weight loss, and it's something that I personally practice myself. What you can do earlier in the day, it's eat high protein, high fiber meals, maybe lower carb meals, lower fat meals that will keep you feeling full and satisfied. So maybe rather than having a big stack of pancakes in the morning before going to a holiday party at night, you can maybe have a couple eggs, some berries, a bowl of Greek yogurt. Lunch could be a big chicken salad with veggies and hummus, and maybe a protein shake as a snack. That would be a lower carb and lower calorie day of eating because you'll be having a lot more carbs in the evening and most likely also fat, but you still feel full from the protein and the fiber you consume throughout the day. It's really important to look at your day as a whole and take some time to plan in the morning for how you're going to enjoy the foods that you want while still prioritizing the nutrition your body needs. So let's get into quick fix number 3, which is something that I have all my clients do throughout the month of December. This is a new thing that I started to implement. That fix number 3 is set one daily nutrition intention. Every day, there are probably a few different goals you have with your nutrition, especially if you're losing weight. Maybe you're trying to eat enough protein, build balanced meals, eat more veggies, making healthy snacks, or drinking more water. And all of these are great goals to have, but I want you to simplify things by checking in with yourself in the morning and writing down, or even saying verbally, one goal that is going to be your main focus on the day, like one intention. So that may be something based on your plans later in the day, such as, I want to stick to a limit of 2 drinks at the holiday party today. Some other examples of intentions include, I'm going to eat a piece of fruit or a vegetable at least lunch and dinner. I'm going to be drinking around 64 to 800 ounces of water throughout the day, and I'm going to make sure I'm staying hydrated so I can feel good. I'm going to have a high fiber carb source at every meal to make sure that I'm feeling satisfied and stuffed, not necessarily starving all day long. I'm going to eat at least maybe one meal without any type of distraction so I can be focused on savoring the food that I'm consuming. I'm going to be focusing on having a high protein snack after dinner rather than snacking on chips. Or maybe if you're tracking macros or paying attention to that, maybe you place your focus on hitting your protein goals and simply simply having a protein source at every meal. See, with every intention, I describe the reasoning for it. When you attach a why behind every intention, there's always going to be more deeper power for you to actually do the things that you want to do, rather than just simply kind of writing a goal down without any type of purpose behind it. And when you accomplish your daily goal, I want to make sure you celebrate that. Even if you're not as dialed in with your nutrition during this month as you are other times in the year, focusing on just one key intention can help you keep the momentum going and continue to see progress even throughout this time of the year. Now, let's bring it back now to what I mentioned a minute ago about sticking to 2 drinks at a holiday party and talk about fix number 4. Fix number 4 is be smart with alcohol. I personally drink socially, and I'm sure many of you do as well, and there's nothing wrong with that. Of course, I'm not really promoting alcohol consumption or saying it's the healthiest nutrition choice, but as a dietitian and nutrition coach, we need to be realistic, and my goal is to give you the knowledge on how to include alcohol if you want to, and without really affecting the goals that you're really working towards too. There's a few things you want to keep in mind about alcohol. The first is that it contains about 7 calories per gram, so it's pretty calorie dense. In comparison, carbs and proteins have 4 calories per gram, and fat has 9 calories per gram. Most types of alcohols don't really give you any beneficial nutrients, and they don't really make you feel full for very long. So they're a source of calories without any nutritional value. Beyond that, there's no actual benefits to anything else beyond just more consequences that are going to happen the next day. The other thing is that even beyond the calories directly from alcohol, many drinks contain also higher calorie sugary mixers. You also have to consider that alcohol can really interfere with your decision making, and that includes your food choices. When your judgment is impaired, having 10 Christmas cookies might suddenly feel or seem like a great idea. But that being said, anything can fit into your diet when you focus on moderation. The problem is moderation typically goes out the window over the holidays. The first step to including alcohol in a way that doesn't really sabotage your goals is setting a drink limit for yourself before you go into a setting where you're going to be drinking, and really focus on respecting that limit. Once you have that limit, that's when you can decide which specific drinks you want to choose, and you can make more calorie friendly choices. There's one hack I have to drink without sabotaging your weight loss, and it's a specific calorie friendly type of alcohol. This alcohol specifically is choosing, for example, something like a sparkling wine or a champagne or a prosecco that is extra brut or extra dry, because a 5-ounce serving glass typically contains about 90 to 95 calories and about 0 to 6 grams of sugar depending on the brand. So for context, a 5-ounce glass of a sweet wine like a Moscato contains 16 to 17 grams of sugar and 120 to 130 calories per serving. Now, if you're not a big fan of sparkling wine, other options that you might choose include things like hard seltzers, vodka soda with lemon or lime, or maybe a light beer. Now, on the other hand, some options you really want to or may want to avoid if you're really trying to manage your calories throughout the holidays include cream-based drinks like mudslides, white Russians, or sugary cocktails like margaritas or pina coladas. Once again, I'm not recommending heavy alcohol consumption, but if you do want to drink while staying on track with your goals, setting a limit and choosing one of the drinks that I just suggested is probably a good way to do it. Now, let's talk about the final quick fix for avoiding weight gain over the holidays, which is fix number 5, prioritize protein at holiday meals. If you've been following along my channel for a while now, this won't be the first time you heard me talk about the importance of protein. I actually have a whole video on it that includes 3 simple high protein meal plans. So I'll put that link to that in the description box, and also you can see it here, so you can kind of click on it and go in there and watch it. But once again, we're talking about my favorite macronutrient, because eating more protein when you're at a big holiday meal can be a helpful strategy to avoid or minimize fat gain. The reason I'm talking about protein specifically for big meals comes from some research that's been done on overeating. What they did in the studies was to take people who regularly engaged in resistance training, and they increased their calories exclusively by increasing protein intake, either from whole foods or protein shakes. All the studies found that overeating protein had no effect on fat mass, or in some cases, they even decreased fat while increasing muscle. What we can take away from this is that overeating protein might be protective against fat gain, particularly for people who lift weights. Now, I do want to make a note that research on overeating is limited, and the results have been mixed for people who have a more sedentary lifestyle and maybe do not lift weights. But if you're going to eat some extra food this holiday season, I recommend having more turkey or whatever the main protein source is at your holiday meals. This gives you the greatest chance of minimizing fat gain if you do happen to overeat a bit. Plus, the satiating effect of protein might help you avoid overeating to begin with. Now, keep in mind, when we talked about overeating, it really comes down to calories. Yes, you can definitely have a lot of protein and gain weight. The thing about it is, over-consuming calories by just including protein is very, very difficult, because you feel very full. You feel very satiated, and the possibilities of you consuming too many calories from protein are going to be limited unless you choose very calorie dense options like steak and things like that. But even so, it's going to be very difficult, but keep that in mind. Okay, but I think we got to the end of this video. There you have it, my top 5 strategies to avoid holiday weight gain. Now, most of these are pretty simple. Not fasting before meals, setting one daily nutrition intention, choosing your alcohol carefully, and eating more protein. Now, the one roadblock that many people run into it is the all or nothing mentality. And I know that can take some work. Keep in mind that it's never going to be a single meal that causes weight gain. And even if you overeat at one meal, the best thing you can do is just accept it and move on and make a choice that supports your goals at your next meal. Everyone overeats sometimes, so don't beat yourself up about it. Instead, remind yourself that you're human and you're not going to do things perfectly all the time. And the good news is you don't need to be perfect to maintain your weight or even to lose weight this holiday season. If you're looking for more tips on holiday eating, you can always head over to my Instagram and follow me there because I'll be sharing more advice on holiday nutrition and New Year's goal setting over the next few weeks. And of course, if you have any questions, just drop them in the comments and I'll be happy to answer them for you. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to hit subscribe because I have so many videos planned for you to simplify weight loss and crush your goals in 2024. I want to wish you a happy holidays to you and your family. And if you're a returning subscriber, thank you. I'm grateful for you for supporting my content. And if you're new here and this is the first time watching one of my videos, thanks again for making it this far. And again, I'm hoping that by this time, if you made it this far, you already hit that subscribe button. Bye for now and see you in my next videos.